Morning, good night, Shabbos, B'Shus, Eshkoil, the Rav, the Pluchak Shlita. So, this week in the beginning of the Parsha, first pasuk, Re'eh noichi noisim lifnechem hayim bracha klala. See before you, I place before you a bracha and a klala. The Medrash points out something. I never knew it until I saw the Medrash. Incredible about how Matan Torah was, what came along with the Luchas, Medrash Pliya. So the Medrash, first of all, directs us right away, Zesh Amar Kasav. This is what Yirmiyah means, Shimu v'hazinu al tikbo. So Medrash says that when Hashem says, look at the bracha, look at the kala, Hashem is telling us, listen and heed to the words of the Torah, don't become arrogant. Then there's a little bit of an arichas in the Medrash. What does it mean? What's the difference between listening and heeding? And how does it tie into being arrogant? But then the Medrash says something about Matan Torah. Omer Rebbe Lazar. Because the Medrash is talking about how if you listen to the Torah, then you're going to become elevated and you're going to understand the Torah. But don't become haughty means don't think you're such a great person and you're conquering the world, because ultimately you're going to push out Hashem. And then the Medrash mentions something about a sayif, a sword, how you're going to end up encountering a sword, you're going to end up killing yourself, even though you think you're such a great person, but you're going to end up killing yourself. That's the idea of the Medrash. Belazar says something incredible about this idea of the sayif. Omer Belazar, hasayif v'hasefer, yardu, kruchim in hashamayim. You ever knew this? Matan Torah, the Torah, the tablets. I have it over here on this one, but usually there's tablets on the, whatever. From Shemayim descended the luchos, but along with it there was a sayif, there was a sword. It's Beferish Medrash of Elazar. Kruchim in Hashemayim, and they were bundled together. Omar lahen, what Hashem say? Im ta'asu ma shekasu b'sefer zeh, atem nitzayim min ha'sefer zeh. Hashem said, if you listen, if you adhere to what it says in the Torah, you're going to be saved. You're going to be spared from the spear. You're going to be saved from the saif, right? V'im lo ta'asu, but if you don't do it, if you don't listen, if you don't live your life by the Torah, atem neherogim b'sayif hazeh. You'll be killed. You'll perish by the sword. So the Alter of Kalman, Sefer Chachma Musar, says something astounding. Mamish, a gem for life. The way we have to live our life. Re'eh, look at the bracha, look at the klal. He says something incredible. He says, what's this whole idea? Seems very intense. A sword is the most vicious representation of death. It's violent, and along with it, that's how the Torah came. Torah is Urechayim, it's Eitz Chaim and Machazikim, but it's pleasant, it's Decher Dechenoim. How could it be that they were together? What's Hashem trying to demonstrate? Says the Alter of Kelm, Hasayif v'hasefer. It says very clearly, very short, Nitnu kruchim yachad, what's the idea? Omar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Kisha amdu es hasefer tinatzu min hasayif. Ha'inyin, what is it? Ki achayim v'malves kruchim v'chuzim yachad. Newsflash. We think that when we're born, just have the road ahead of us, we're ambitious, and we're meant to do that. But says the Alter, Hashem is telling us that there's something much deeper. That embedded, tied together with all the she'ifas, with life, with the clear road ahead, is mavis itself, is death. When you're born, every second that ticks, every second that passes, that's a taste of misa, of death itself. Don't think they're separated. Don't think that they're two disparate entities. They're kruchim yachad. Ki hamavis roidef esachayim. Not only are they intertwined, but every second of olam hazeh, every second that passes by, it chases away. It's another second of death. Ki shezeh oiver zeba. When every second goes by, we're getting closer to the end. Ki sha'odam chai rega, oisei rega meis. When you live a moment, the moment that just passed, died. V'chein hu meis kol rega v'rega, ma she'ein kein ki sha'oisek b'Torah. Says the Alter, the Torah is trying to remind us this message over here of Kruchim Yachad, the sword and the scroll. What does it mean that the Kruchim Yachad? Not just that we should have this unbelievable revelation, Hashem put a sword with a sword and a scroll, but it's to remind us that is life itself. That every second that passes, there's the choice. There's the opportunity to choose of B'char to B'chaim. And as a bracha, every second we have the opportunity to change, to choose. And every second is koruch, is bundled up with mavis and chayim. And every second that goes by is another opportunity, is another moment that was chased out from life and essentially is death. Just a few That's the idea of this medrash. That's what Velaz is saying, that they came down together. Unbelievable. Next week, just an incredible Maisa, is the yard site of the Satmarov on Chavav Av. What does it mean? What's this idea over here of living with the Saif and with the Sefer? How do we do that? So it's Maisa Shahaya. There was an editor of an Israeli journal. The Satmarov obviously was very anti. His love for Eretz Yisrael was, we can't imagine it, but he was obviously, he had a shita about Eretz Yisrael. And there was a journalist who was very anti the Satmarov and ridiculed him, shamed him publicly. You want to know how a person lives his life, Chaim, over Mavis? You want to know what he does? This journalist was making chasana for his daughter, and he had no money. Where did he turn? Obviously to the Rebbe. He comes into the Rebbe's office crying. He says, Rebbe, I need money. I'm making chasana for my daughter. I don't have the funds. And obviously he's killing himself inside. How could I ridiculed this Rav? I shamed him. And here I am asking. He felt like such a low life. He wanted to literally bury himself 6 feet under, but he knew this is his only address. The only person that had enough of a heart that will somehow look over and give him his needs. The Satmarov takes out a checkbook, writes a fat check, sends him off on his way. The Gabbai almost fainted. He said, I understand. He said, do you know who just came in? He said, I know good and well. He said, he's the guy who wrote against you, who humiliated you publicly. You know what the Satmarov's response was? You know what it means to choose Chaim over Mavis? He said, bring him back. And he gave him more money. Because choosing life over Mavis means realizing that there's a God and His Ratzon, and realizing that there's nothing besides, which can be often very challenging, very difficult. But this encapsulates, this reminds us that every second is karuch, is bundled up with the choice of Chaim and Mavis, whether it's learning more Torah, giving more tzedakah, living as a bigger and better maimon, as a better husband, father, whatever it is, Eved Hashem. We have choices, they're very difficult, but Hashem says, the first words of the Parsha, Re'ei anoichi nois levrich, I'm giving it to you, and they're going to be hard, it's not going to be easy. It's a journey. But, it's bracha u'klala, and the choice is yours.